Good morning, Bears fans. It's a game day Sunday, and I'm going to start this off by saying this one very simple thing. Chase Young is not a Chicago Bear. There
See
has
that?
been no trade. There's some fake stuff out there. Wikipedia says he's on the Bears. As Bear fan Dan just told us off stage a few minutes ago, he is in fact in a Washington uniform, warming up to play the game. That being said, let's welcome the crew. Bear fan Dan, good morning.
Good morning, Ken.
Woody, good morning.
Morning. I just wanted to say that Chase Young, yes, is on the field for Washington, but he's not in uniform. He's in his tights. So that could mean something.
That could. And Mike is doing his thing back there. We'll see him in a little bit. Hey, sorry we didn't have a Wednesday show. We had some work and real life conflicts. So that's why we started a little early today. Got a lot of stuff to go through. The Raiders game. We got today's game. We got the rumor mill. And let's just go right into the Bears Raiders real quick before we get into the other fun stuff. Here are the stats. I mean, completely wow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, defensively for me is more of the wow than offensively. However, on the offensive side of the ball, a certain player erased another certain big name player from the game. Did he not there, Woody?
Yeah. Tyson, man, he managed that game well. He didn't. The thing is, he didn't throw downfield. He didn't have to. So he kept moving the ball, and he did great for his first full starting in the NFL. He did pretty good.
Well, I'm also meaning about Darnell Wright. Dan, Darnell Wright had a hell of a game.
Yeah.
And he erased one of the premier edge rushers in the game, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He
Well,
looked
he gave him
great out there.
one sack.
So, good game there. Yeah, Badgett, it was a small ball for sure. I don't think we even saw a pass over 20 yards. We'll see what we get this week. As we look at Badgett's start, so 21 for 29, 162 yards passing, a TD, couple rushes there. No big deal. It was his first start, first win. Also didn't set a record, but he was the first D2 quarterback to start and win in like 70 years or something like that in the NFL. I mean, but really, for me, the impression is this. He's showing that he's going to be a really good backup quarterback for this team. He's not the guy. He's not the franchise, but he showed confidence, and that's what we needed. Would you agree with that, Dan?
Yes.
So, the question going forward, and I guess we can get into Fields a little bit now. Fields is saying he'll be back by next week. Week 9 is what he wants. So, Dan, for you, is the combo now Fields the starter going forward and Badgett is the backup going forward for the next 2-3 years, or do you see anything different there?
Still think it's going to go Fields and Badgett and that. I have to see.
And if the viewers haven't figured out, and I think I can speak for the panel here, none of us think that we're drafting a quarterback. None of us think Justin Fields is not going to be the quarterback of the Bears for the next couple of years to come. So, we see all these stupid posts out there on Facebook and other places, how we're going to draft some quarterback. Look, none of us here think that's going to happen. I think, Fields is going to get a contract extension. We got our backup quarterback for the foreseeable next 3 to 4 years, I think, in Badgett. There is no quarterback controversy in Chicago. So just stop, right? I think nods the heads, yeah. So now here's the one area, though, where we could get some controversy. Roschon Johnson is back this week. However, Dante Foreman tore it up last week.
Great game for him.
I know he was nominated. Did he actually win the Offensive Player of the Week?
I don't know.
I know. Sure. I remember the last thing I saw he was nominated. They had some real life stuff take over, and I didn't get to see. But guys, he had a beast of a game, did he not?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yep.
I mean, we're just very deep there. Another guy who's in a contract negotiation and a beast of a game, Jalen Johnson. 3 tackles, 2 interceptions with the first pick 6 for the Bears in 3 years. He is in a contract extension negotiation right now. He wants it done before the deadline on Tuesday. Woody, you already shake your head no. What are your thoughts?
No, he's not. He's got to. This is one game. And, I've been ragging on the guy all year. He's got to play better to get that extension. He is my stud of the game last week, but he has to be consistent. He won't get an extension by the deadline. I'll guarantee that.
Well, he's got some numbers, though. I mean, look, he's got some numbers. If you look for the lowest passer rating overall, oh, look at that. He's number 2 in the league right now. So while Woody has been tearing it up, man, so is Jalen. Right, Dan? I mean, he's got some numbers up there. I mean, look at this list. Dan, if your polls, are you giving him an extension before Tuesday?
Yeah.
All right, let's get the gloves on. We got Dan and Woody here in disagreement. I mean, well, hold on. Bear down, Mike. What if Badgett wins? Justin's never. Nah, I don't. It doesn't make a difference. I mean, Mike, you heard us say it here. It doesn't make a difference. Fields is your starter. He's going to remain the starter. Badgett managed the game last week is what he did. And I think you'll see a little different. We'll get into tonight later. But, Dan, I mean, you're saying sign Jalen Johnson now, right? Give him the extension. Bear down, Mike is saying give Jalen Johnson an extension before Tuesday. Woody's the only one, I think, saying not. But here's the question of what's the money you're giving him? Like, what kind of money you think we're talking?
Well, I didn't say extend him, so I can't give him any money. So.
Yeah, Dan. What now?
I don't know what kind of money, so maybe wait. But if we wait, are we going to lose him?
Yeah, and I think as we get into some of this other stuff down the road, Mike, it's going to be more apparent that maybe we need to sign Johnson now versus later, right?
Well, I mean, we do have the money for it. He's been playing pretty decent, this year. I don't think they're going to re-sign him by the deadline. I think we are going to re-sign him for sure, but I don't think that's going to happen until the end of the year.
Yeah, because I think these numbers right here say you re-sign him, right? Number 2 in the NFL on the lowest passer rating allowed. You almost have to re-sign him. Look, at our backfield is one of our strengths right now. And in our wide receiving room, this is what I was shocked when I first saw this. I did not realize, and most of this is with Justin throwing the ball for those of you out there. Look at DJ Moore is in the top 5 in the NFL. Okay, going back, bear down, Mike, 4 years, 16 mil. I think I could bite on that. But DJ Moore, look at this. He's almost actually in 4th right now. He's only 42 yards behind Stephon Diggs. No one's catching Tyreek Hill at this moment. But I mean, we're throwing the ball. Most of that is Justin throwing the ball to him. So that's a nice sign to see. We haven't seen that in a while in Chicago. And here's another good one. Darnell Wright. Talked about him earlier.
Yep.
He is showing why we drafted him in the first round.
Yeah, Poles hit that right on the nose.
Yeah. And if you look at another offensive lineman who's been doing well, Devin Jenkins.
That is amazing. I know about the 33 pass blocking snaps, but 0 pressures allowed really stands out. It's amazing.
I just want the kid to stay healthy. Like, he plays great when he is in, but he's just got to stay healthy.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because this isn't a surprise, because last year we were saying the same thing about him when he was healthy, right? His PFF has always been good.
Yep.
And Dexter, another young guy, another rookie. Look at this. Dexter's senior. Jeez. Since week 5, look at those numbers. So the interior is starting to come around. So as we talk about the defense coming around, I mean, geez. I mean, in the last 4 games, I mean, the defense, who in the first couple games were like hot trash, right? They're coming around. So that brings us to our next point. Could, for the New Orleans game, our pass rush be twice as good as it is now? Could we see either Montez Sweat or Chase Young as a Bear next week? And I think this is the biggest topic, bigger topic of the day versus a potential quarterback controversy. Is this? I'll start with Mike. Mike, what do you think the Bears do pre-Tuesday? And are one of these two guys on the team?
Man, polls, it's tough. I think it's real tough. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see one of them. Either one's good in my book because it'll literally help the defensive line either way we look at it. I've been seeing a lot of stuff saying they want a second rounder, but they've only got third rounders and compensation other round as well. So we'll just have to wait until see Tuesday. I hope if it's anybody, I would choose Chase Young.
Mhm.
Dan?
Hope it be Chase Young.
Woody?
Yeah, both players would help us out, but yeah, Chase Young. But I don't. Poles has surprised all of us in one aspect. So to us to get one of these guys wouldn't be a surprise. But if it would be one player, I would say Chase Young. But both of them would help our defensive line out.
Oh, hold on a second. I'm sorry. I fell asleep and took a nap under that. I had a Woody dream. Woody, I had a dream. What you proposed something, Woody.
Hey, Mike, I said the same fucking thing, man.
What Woody? I just had a dream. What was that Woody dream? It was a Woody dream.
I said first round pick and Darnell Mooney for both Chase Young and Sweat. Bring it. That's my Woody dream. I'm not going to say what kind of dream it was, but it's my dream of the day. Thank you.
I think that would be. It would have to be our first rounder, not Carolina's. But that it would weaken the wide receiving core for sure. But my God, that defense, which already we know we have a good linebacking core, we have a good defensive backfield. Ooh. With those two, and Dexter, and Yannick. Oof. I mean, also we got a legit defense. I mean, look, here's the thing: people need to understand when they talk about the trade deadline. We are not sellers. We are definitely, if anything, buyers. We are a building team, not a looking to rebuild team. Yep. So we're on that upward trajectory, not the downward one, right? So I would agree that we are buyers, if anything. We're not buyers in the sense that we think we're going to win it this year, but we're buyers and putting pieces in place that are going to help us be where we want to be for next season, right? So if it's a second rounder, I'm calling that house money because you have two first rounders.
Yep.
So would I spend a second rounder on Young or Sweat? Yes, I would. Sweat's more of an interior guy, as Woody has said. So I'm kind of more in line with Chase Young, who's also been linked to Chicago now for 2 years.
Yeah.
But I would say this: if you sign Young, and we're paying Johnson, you're gonna have to pay Young immediately. Sweat's got the 5th-year option on him that was exercised, so you still got another year of him. But then, Mike asked another question: are you going to pay Mooney? And then you got a 5th-year option or / pay Fields coming. Now we've got about $90 million to play with. And another thing is let's say you give up a second-round pick, do you re-sign Ngakoue for another season or a 3-year deal? Because he's done well this year. He hasn't put up the sacks, but he's creating pressure. He's part of this charge that's making the defense better. So if you get Young, Ngakoue immediately gets better because now all the pressure is not on him. So the question then is going to become for Poles. I think this is where it all comes down to. Poles is looking at his big board going, where am I putting my money that I have to spend? What do I have to keep? And then, what's going to cost me to keep Young? What's going to cost me to keep a Sweat? I don't think the second round draft pick matters to him in this regard with one of those two guys. So we'll see what happens there. But it's funny how if you look at the troll posts on Facebook, how they went from us being sellers to all of a sudden we're buying. But the buying part is correct. We are buying. Oh, and please on Facebook, please stop the Caleb Williams post. We're not.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I know Brooke wants Caleb Williams on our team next year. He's not.
No,
he's not. Stop. I'm tired of hearing this Caleb Williams shit. Stop.
Yes, I got my quarterly haircut, Brad. Once I retired, I get it quarterly. All right, so we got talking about Fields. Here's the injury. I already alluded to it. He's going to be out today. Next week, I should be able to see him live in New Orleans. That's when he's coming back, and or he wants to come back. But look, at this team is definitely trending the right direction. Did it start like we wanted? No. That's why my tag today is calm down, because we started out really bad. But if you've been watching, you can see how this team from in every aspect has improved, throughout the weeks. And yes, the Denver game was a letdown. Yes, the Minnesota game was a letdown. But I think that's not as much as on talent as it is on scheme and play calling. And I don't know. Does anyone disagree with that?
Not at all.
Mm-mm.
Ken, when do I ever disagree with you?
I know, Woody. We never did. Actually, Woody,
Absolutely
we've been agreeing way too much lately.
Something's going to go wrong.
What's up with that? All right, well, here's the injury report. We do have Mike. We're missing one, right? We're missing
Brisker's out. It says questionable, but he's out.
Yep.
Yeah, because of illness. Roshan is back, though, I thought. Or he was cleared to come back.
Yeah, Roshan is playing today.
This
Roshan's
is week
back.
7.
That's against the Raiders.
Yeah. Roshan is back. But I think the rest of it's pretty much the same for the most part. And today,
again, we got to fluctuate that offensive line around. And if I am not mistaken, Braxton Jones is activated for today.
I think he is.
Yes.
But you know what, Dan? I mean, with what do you say? Oh, we got to fluctuate the line, but the line's actually even with the fluctuation, minus a few Cody Whitehair's errant snaps, has been pretty darn good, hasn't it?
Yeah, mine's looking pretty good so far lately.
So I don't know. It's kind of like we can get into the draft in a few minutes. We got some time here, but today's game is going to be interesting. We've got a showdown: DJ Moore versus Keenan Allen. I think Keenan Allen's more primed to get big chunk yard downfield plays, whereas Moore's gonna have to get more yak. Right? It's going to be a 5-yard hitch, and he's going to get some yards after the catch, whereas Keenan's going to be more downfield. But let us know what you guys think about that matchup. The other matchup we want to hear about, of course, Herbert and Badgett. Does anyone want to take a stab at that matchup?
Herbert's due, though. Herbert's due, and it's going to be a whole lot of Eckler too tonight. That's the question. Eckler I wanted him on the Bears, and everybody, me and Mike agreed on that too before training camp started, that Eckler will be on our team this year. He's
he's a big piece too, but the Bears' defensive line has actually been stopping the run the past few weeks for sure. They've stepped it up numerous ways.
The big thing for the Chargers is that their big tight end Everett is questionable, and their good wide receiver Palmer is actually questionable as well. So it might be just Keenan Allen tonight. So we'll find out.
Yeah, Bear Down Mike says, we don't need to see Borum. The thing about Borum, guys, and Borum is a good rotational guy. He's a good spot guy, but he's not your everyday guy, is he?
No, he's our good holding guy too as well.
Yeah. So look, guys, we got an interesting game. Well, you know what, Dan? What's interesting about today? This is another one of those games where in the preseason, I think most of us said the Chargers should win this game, but yet, Dan, here we are tonight, national TV, and now all of a sudden, what is seeming to be a winnable game.
It is winnable. I mean, one of the last 2 out of 3 weeks.
Yep.
And that, and the running game, what's his name? Foreman looked good last week.
Yeah.
Plus, we got Roshan coming back. Bagent looked decent last week. It is winnable. Defense, looking good.
And it's not like the Chargers aren't without questions with coaching and field play and scheme, kind of like our offenses. But guys, there is a certain return this week, the return of the Mac.
Yep.
I mean, we have to see Khalil Mack today in the first game since we traded him. right? Yeah, first time since we traded him. So,
And
we know Mac goes on either side. So, it's not going to be Darnell Wright trying to stop him all day. And I don't think the Chargers want that either. So he'll probably be out coming from the left a lot, which seems to be his favorite anyways.
and don't forget about Joey Bosa too.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're up front. I mean, Badgen's going to have his hands full. He's got to get rid of that ball quick.
Yep. Remember, Mac had 6 sacks in one game. So.
And does anyone think he won't be juiced up against his former team?
No. He's like, he played for the Bears. He's juiced up. Plus, we waxed his old Raiders last week. So he's pissed.
So here's a question, and we'll get into predictions here in a little bit. But does anyone think that we are going to try to push the ball past 10 yards in the air?
We're going to have to. I mean, the Chargers looked at Tyson last week and says, oh, this guy hasn't thrown over 20 yards. We're going to cover that middle of the field, and we're going to make him go long. So, and that makes Tyson have to, he's going to be under rush already. He's going to have to throw that ball pretty quick. So it might be a Minnesota team when they're throwing different defensive schemes in on Tyson.
I mean, I think this is why I like seeing Tyson start today too. Don't get me wrong. I like to have our starting quarterback in as much as possible, but I'm not in the phase that we are in our operations here. I don't mind seeing Tyson taking this game and giving Fields a rest because now we get to see a team that also has had 2 weeks to prepare for Tyson, right? So, not that the Raiders had a week, not that they weren't prepared for him, but not prepared as, a team normally would because they saw 2 quarters in a backup emergency role and preseason tape, and that was it. The Chargers have a week of game film, right, as a start. So I think that they're going to be better prepared than the Raiders are. And in all truth, I'd like to see Tyson play one more week, even though I'm going to the game, would rather see Fields, but I'd like to see him in a weird way play the Saints game. So there's a team that has 2 game days on them and, even more time to prepare because while it's easy for some people to go last week, oh my God, no one's prepared for Badgett yet. So this is really, last week was a decent test. This is a better test.
Yep.
I think if he went to a 3rd or 4th game, that'd be an even better test. But to me, he's making the case of why he needs to be in this league and why he should be a good backup quarterback in Chicago.
Yeah, I want to see him. That fucking pissed me off last week when they put Peterman for. That's telling me that they don't trust Tyson's arm on that Hail Mary. I know he's
they
young.
didn't want to give him that possible interception. Give it to Peterman.
Well,
and I'm like,
but it's funny that you should mention that he was your dud. So Bear Fan Daniel, every week he has a segment, and I neglected to get to it earlier because it was a long day yesterday, and I'm still drunk from going to a good hockey game I got bonus hockey and a shootout. So Dan, why don't we start it off, man? Give us your studs and duds, and let's do our studs and duds with Bear Fan Dan.
My stud of the game has to be Dante Foreman with 89 yards rushing, I believe, 2 touchdowns, plus he had a receiving touchdown. And my dud, he already said it, has to be Nathan Peterman. I mean, even the announcers were laughing. Like, and he threw it to nobody. It went nowhere. So, yeah.
Wow. Dan always takes my guys. Now I got to switch it the fuck up again. Okay.
Well, then switch it up, Woody. Who is it?
All right. My dud, as you say, last week was National Tight Ends Week. Cole Kmet, only 1 target. Might not have been his fault. He might have not got open. But 1 target, no receptions, no yards. He's my dud. And I'll have to say, I apologize. I ragged on this guy all year. But my stud of the week is Jalen Johnson's 2 interceptions, 1 pick six.
Yeah.
But We are not re-signing him before Tuesday's trade deadline. You heard it here first.
Hey, Woody, but you know what, though? Cole Kmet had the most important catch of the game.
What, on the sidelines?
No, he recovered the onside kick to end the game.
Oh, well, it doesn't count as a catch, but we'll use that. Yeah, I forgot about that. That was a fumble, though. Actually, it wasn't a catch.
Mike, what you got?
Oh, my stud is actually the defense. Even though Jalen Johnson got that pick six, 2 interception, Edmonds got an interception as well. He's been playing good ball along with pretty much the whole linebacking core. They've been playing stout for sure. And my duds is, honestly, I'm going to flip it a little bit, and I'm going to say penalties. 9 for 110 yards. Got to limit the penalties.
Yeah, penalties are killing us. Thank you, Borum.
So my stud wasn't even on the field as a player, but my stud of the week is Ryan Poles because of the talent he's drafted and put together, and the marked and you're seeing it on the field week in, week out. The improvement, you're seeing his plan come to fruition, and he's my stud just because of.
Oh, look at my mother watching! Isn't that sweet?
Just because of the talent he's put on the field. Now my dud is a carryover from guys. He's been my dud now a couple times. Is the offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears?
Oh my God!
Just cannot be. I mean, we won, but the play calling was uninspired. It was super safe, which okay, fine, it's bad, but let the kid air it out a little bit. In my mind, he's the guy on this. If there's any guy in this team or in this organization that needs to go, it's him. He is holding back this offense. He is holding back many players on this team. The offensive line, even with all the jumbling around and minus a few Aaron stats, like I said, has been playing great this year. We've seen flashes of Fields when he's been able to do certain things. We saw Badgett has the IQ and the acuity to play. Let these guys do more, especially at the quarterback position. They're not we have a guy who had Aaron Rodgers who would sit in the pocket and make beautiful passes. We don't have those guys. Our guys have different strengths. He refuses to acknowledge them. He refuses to acknowledge the strengths of the talent that Poles has put on the field, and that's why he's my dud.
Mike, if you don't mind, can you bring up Bear Down Mike's comment back up? I wanted to talk about that, about the Badgett, about the kneeling down. I was fucking furious because whoever made that call to put Peterman to kneel that down it took Badgett's first win, like that would like clinch my first win as an NFL starter. Is if he kneeled that ball down at the end of the game. They put Peterman, go fuck off, whoever called that.
Yeah. All right, a little housekeeping. Hey, we're pushing the 10K. We're actually down to 300 now. 300 more followers so we get to 10K. Make sure you like and follow Mike the Bear Fan on Facebook. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that little subscribe button you're seeing there on YouTube. Hit that too. That helps us out. Make sure you do that. But on the Facebook side of the house, we get to 10K. We got a big giveaway, don't we, Mike?
Sure do. Might be multiple winners.
There we go.
Better not give that Singletary card away. That you motherfucker.
Hey, and speaking of turnarounds, just like that, we're all tied at 2-5.
Goodness gracious!
All tied at 2-5. We all share the Bears record. Look at that. Let's get into some predictions. Also, don't forget to go to the Mike the Bear Fan page. On the game post for today, put your game prediction. If you get it right, what are they winning this week, Mike, if they get it right? Do you know yet?
You know me, I never tell you the winnings until someone is a winner. Then I literally reveal what it is.
The only
Maybe
thing
next week I'll reveal the prize.
What now?
Maybe next week I'll start revealing the prize.
Yeah, it might be something signed. It might be just something like, ooh. So
It's
it
gonna
will
be
be something nice. And bottom line is for you guys, it's my favorite price, $19.90 free, $3.99. All you gotta do is put in your prediction and win. So speaking of predictions, we'll start with Woody today. Woody, what's your predictions for tonight's game?
Hey, as I say, all the standings, we're all the Bears' record right now, 2-5. It's away. The Chargers are they're 2-4. They're hungry. We got a hungry Mac on one side. We got Joey Bosa. I know Darnell Wright's doing a great job on the offensive line, our most consistent offensive lineman. Brisker's out. The question is about Palmer and Everett on the Charger side. Mike already saw my prediction. I have the home team winning 21-17 tonight, Chargers.
Wow. Okay. Mike.
Well, I went with the Bears last week. I think if the play calling is good and they did exactly what they did last week, we have a chance to win. And I think we're going to pull off the win this week, 27-24.
Dan, what you got?
Well, we won the last 2 out of 3 games, last 2 out of 3 weeks. Offense is coming around. Bajan looked good last week. You got Dante Foreman. You got Roshan Johnson that's back. Defense is looking good. Bears win 20-17.
Ooh, is that on?
You guys are all homers.
Wait,
Hey,
is that
there's
on
the-
a Chris Santos last-minute field goal, Dan?
Yeah.
No, see, you guys suck. You really do.
So, you know what? Look at it. I'm kind of like where Woody is, but I'm kind of where you guys are too. This is actually at the beginning of the year. I had the Chargers winning this game, but then we start doing what they actually do: play the games. Bears are hot right now. Winners of 2 out of 3. Defense is getting way better. They've got some coaching issues with the Chargers, some wonky play calling. A game that they won that they almost lost on bad coaching. So it's not like they don't have coaching issues in LA right now, because they do. He got lucky because he got that win, and that was against the Colts, wasn't it? I mean, it was a game they should have won easily. I don't want to be as Woody says, a homer fan.
Right.
I think this is going to be a close game. It's almost flip a coin, but being that it's a close game and that we are Bears fans, God, 24-21, no, 24-17, and I'll take the Bears.
And Ken, my question to you is, what the fuck is wonky?
Wonky, not right, a little strange, a little weird.
Okay.
I mean, look at all they had to do. The Chargers, I think it was a Colts game. Like literally, all they had to do was kick a field goal or something, and it was kind of over. But instead, they do some strange play that they fail on, turn the ball over. The Colts go down, score. Then they got to have some last minute heroics. I mean, it's their coaching has made bad decision after bad decision. Oh, kind of like ours, but we're hot right now, and they're kind of like me. They've got a great defense. Both teams have tools, but it's one of those games that, weirdly enough, I think can go either way, because we could just as easily lose as we could win this week. But the Bears happen to be hot right now, and if we can have a steady run diet, that's going to affect their. If the running game is good for the Bears, we win. Let me predicate that. If we can run the ball effectively today, we win. If we don't run the ball effectively, then the Chargers will dominate.
And I agree with Bear Down Mike, and I've been saying that all year. Our offense, defense got to be consistent. Can't be one or the other. Defense doesn't win championships these days. Not like back then when we had Lance Briggs and Brian Urlacher with Rex Grossman as the quarterback. So,
and that brings me something that this Mike said, and if I want, Lance Briggs is 100% a Badger fan. So is Eric Kramer. Lance Briggs also said, Mike, that Justin Fields is your franchise quarterback and you build around him. And he said that just 3 days prior to Badger's start. So Lance Briggs, I think, likes both these guys. And I think you'll find that everyone on this panel likes both of these guys. But for those of us on this panel, we think Badgen is showing why the Bears re-signed him to be the backup quarterback for years to come.
And a hands off to my fellow Virginia Techian, Tremaine Edmonds, with another interception last week.
Billy, who doesn't travel well to LA?
Absolutely, Billy.
That's like saying teams travel well to Tampa. Tampa and LA are like safe havens for opponents.
I see they got a big group down there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Billy, represent the Bears and the show so we can start getting paid.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's funny though, because like a couple weeks ago when the Lions went down to Tampa Bay and won, Lions fans like, oh my God, we had so many fans there. It's like, so is every team that goes to Tampa. Just like every team that goes to LA has a ton of fans there, unless you happen to be like Arizona. They might be the exception right now.
And before we get off, I'm going to ask this question going back to the trade deadline with Chase Young and stuff like that. If they're trying to trade somebody, or you would think they would maybe do if it's a definite trade, a healthy scratch maybe. But Sweat and Young are both today. I was just thinking about that.
Well, I think, so when I saw Ian Rappaport when we were tracking this down pre-show, he was saying basically if they lose to the Eagles, they're gone. If they're still in the hunt, because they're still kind of in the hunt, if they win today, they might not trade them. But and Jerry Jeudy's in the same boat in Denver. Like, depending on what happens, he could be gone today. But we got a few minutes left before we go. We don't have an early game to run off to, so if we go over, we go over. If you guys want to talk about it.
And they should have beat the stupid ass Eagles the first game to Washington.
Yeah.
So now they're in Washington. So we'll see if they have that same intensity to beat these stupid assholes from Philly.
The thing that's interesting though about Washington actively calling teams now to shop them is that they've lost their leverage. So like 2 weeks ago, it might have been a first round pick, but the second they start making phone calls now, well, we're asking for a second. And teams are like, well, we'll give you a third. Does anyone watching this show, Billy, weigh in on this? Because I don't think you weighed in on this yet. Would any of you be opposed to a second-round pick, those of you watching, leave in the comments, giving up our only second-round pick for either one of these guys?
Nope.
For Sweat or I mean, would you do it?
I would.
I would.
It's a second pick. Then we still have our Carolina and our first-round pick. We can get our Marvin Harrison Jr. pick and use that second pick, or do what Poles did last year, trade it down.
Or just another defensive end, right? I mean, because if you want insurance on Young being an injury issue, but the Young is the guy you get.
Or it depends.
It
depends what we do with Giannis as well. We need that depth.
So Mike Withrow says Young is I'll post it. One knee ding away from being a washout. Bear Down Mike says trade the pick, either guy.
Yep.
So I mean, that's why you guys watch us, because we don't do these stupid clickbait. Caleb Williams is going to be a Bear crap.
Nope.
I mean, realistically, I think. The Woody dream is kind of interesting too. Trade away the Bears' first-round pick, get both of them. Maybe you have to throw Mooney in. Maybe you don't. Oh, you lost Dan. But I mean, the Bears, I think, are buyers. And come the trade deadline, we got some money issues that Poles will be figuring out, and I think that's what's driving his train as well. Comment here from Mike. We know that if we're getting. Yeah, you know what you're getting with either of them. That's the thing too. People seem to forget draft picks are like roulette. It's 50-50 at best. We've been good. Poles has been really good with his picks the last 2 years. So yeah, that's got to be concerning on Young.
What time is it, Kim? It's time for the
It's
Woody
the
wrap.
real time. The real
Oh.
time is 12:57 Eastern time.
Oh, so now it's 11:58
Oh, here
Central
we go.
Standard Time. We now give you the Woody wrap up.
Hey, listen, the Chargers are hungry. So we're going against Mac, going against Bosa. Darnell Wright's been doing a good job. The keys of victory is those two have to be stopped, and playing our run game. Roshan Johnson, Devontae Foreman, got to have a good running game, and DJ Moore has got to get open, and that's our keys to the victory. And bear down, and everybody, thank you for watching, and enjoy the games.